Global warming wreaks havoc year after year. Rising sea levels threaten low-lying cities like Singapore. They could submerge. But Singapore is reversing its fate. It's arguably the only city in the world that has greened more than a quarter of its buildings. What has Singapore done to transform itself into a green nation in the last decade? We'll meet some of the amazing change makers who have helped achieve this dream. When it comes to greening buildings, Irene Yong has a wealth of experience to share. The mechanical engineer is a pioneer Green Mark professional. She received this professional certification from the Building and Construction Authority of Singapore, or BCA in short, in 2009.
I would like to think that we are actually catalysts to transforming a project into a green project. Green Mark professionals actually bring along with them their vision of a green building into the project, making it more environmentally sustainable, not only in terms of design or but more also in terms of operational and maintainability. So we have to look at it as a more holistic view.
To be called a certified Green Mark professional means Irene has attained the necessary skills and knowledge needed to help building developers execute green building designs. But for her, helping buildings go green has a deeper purpose that's beyond a career pursuit.
I think everyone has a very key role to play in sustainable living. We want to pass on a green and sustainable, healthy environment for our children to live in. If we mess up today, just imagine what will happen to the earth that our next generation is going to inherit from us.
Singapore knows it can't mess up its environment. The small city-state is land scarce and has no natural resources. Sustainable living is the only way to survive in the long run. As the country steps up its greening efforts, consultants like Irene become much sought after. In 2012, she helped Marina One attain the BCA Green Mark Platinum Award. This is the highest tier in BCA's Green Mark certification. Marina One is a mixed development with residences, offices, and retail outlets. Right in the heart of its structure is a biodiversity garden as large as 5 Olympic swimming pools.
With the government's incentives, it has made it easier to implement and more beneficial for building owners to integrate green features within the development. The Singapore Green Movement has become a reality.
Marina One's focus on going green started early. Irene was hired together with the structural, mechanical, and electrical consultants even before the architect was appointed. Usually, an environmental sustainability design consultant comes on board at a later stage.
We become stakeholders at the onset of the project to select which we think is the most environmentally sustainable design to be implemented for Marina One. And when the architect was on board, we had to work very closely with the architect to further develop the project.
There are now more than 60 certified Green Mark professionals like Irene who shape Singapore's green building movement. They're part of a larger green specialist workforce of more than 13,700 today. BCA hopes to raise the number of green specialists to 20,000 by 2020 through training.
We need enthusiasts who are passionate about going green. So Green Mark professionals play this leading role to drive change in the built environment sector. So that's why over the years, we've been running a lot of programs in the BCA Academy. It's also very important going forward that in the tropical belt and the subtropical belt, there are a lot of cities that require such expertise.
A Green Mark professional doesn't work alone. Irene heads a team of 10 building audit and mechanical and electrical engineers in her company. The team has completed 30 Green Mark certified projects so far. Among them, 9 are schools and tertiary institutions. The Singapore Institute of Technology building in the Republic Polytechnic campus is one of them. As an environmental sustainability design consultant, Irene has to work with several professionals from various disciplines. A reality she regards as the most challenging part of her job.
Every building is built differently. It has a different team of project team members because they are professionals in their own field. We have to respect their designs and work along with them to get their buy-in that this green concept is good for the building. We need to align everyone towards the sustainable goal. So that is really a challenge to get buy-in from all the stakeholders in the project team. That is the most challenging part. But then again, the most rewarding part as well.
Besides teamwork, Irene has to rely on technology. Her team uses computer modeling simulation to help architects and engineers figure out how and where to place these green features. For example, it can simulate the sun path and wind speed at the building site. When Irene started her career as an energy auditor in 2000, there was no Green Mark scheme. At that time, building owners were given the Energy Efficient Building Award by BCA.
There's a lot of changes in the technology. Things like motion sensors, photocell sensors, photovoltaic panels. These could be, once upon a time, could be state-of-the-art, but today they are actually something like business as usual. So the landscape over the years has really changed a lot for green buildings.
After 15 years in the industry, Irene still finds her work exciting.
It's an ever-going learning process, which for someone like me who likes to learn and know about new technologies, indeed has really been very fulfilling, and I'm really still enjoying it very much. Yeah.
Irene is so passionate about the green movement that she volunteers her service at the Singapore Green Building Council. She helps to review the BCA Green Mark criteria for lighting and air conditioning as well.
I would really hope to see one day that not only will Singapore be recognized as a leader in green buildings in Asia or in the tropics, but on par or even exceeding some of those countries that have been practicing green building in the past.
While Green Mark professionals play a crucial role in greening buildings, many eco-friendly designs are the inspirations of architects. As technology evolves, the gap between imagination and reality begins to narrow. Behind the design of every building is an architect. Tan Se-han has been putting his name to several impressive eco-friendly buildings over the last 8 years. He is among some of the local talent who have brought Singapore's Green Mark certification to several overseas projects.
When our overseas clients approach us, very often they want the Singapore way of doing things. And by Singapore way, I mean we design efficiently, we design sustainably as well. And Green Mark becomes one of the ways of accrediting how sustainable a building is, or how basically considerate towards the environment it is.
One of Se-han's latest projects is the Suntec Techno-City in Trivandrum, the capital of the southern Indian state of Kerala. When completed in 2017, it'll be the world's first eco-friendly information technology business park. What makes this IT park exceptional is how it's built around the existing lush tropical greenery, much like Singapore's concept of city in a garden.
To basically employ Green Mark on this environment was also challenging. Suntec Techno-City is basically within Kerala, and Kerala is a very lush environment and a very hot and humid environment within India. So to keep the feel of that environment in terms of the landscape design, and to actually ensure that despite there being a whole new development on what is previously basically a plantation for palm oil and so on.
For Zehan, green features should be seamless and not cause any inconvenience to users. He made 5 trips to Kerala within a year to find out what his client needed. The architect wanted to ensure that the differences in cultures and working habits would not ruin the project at a later stage.
It is the user who has to live for many years, even or sometimes even decades, with a bad design decision. So we've had to be very careful about decisions that we make with regards to, even positioning of workstations and how the work culture also comes in. Because in India, very often they bring the food to the office, and during lunchtime, instead of actually going out to a common canteen, for instance, as we would do here, they would actually be crouched around the desks having lunch in that kind of environment. So what we've tried to introduce is to bring in basically common tables or even common pantry areas and basically celebrate these areas as areas of collaboration.
Suntec Techno City is Zehan's 8th overseas project. He hopes that it will become India's first building to attain BCA's Green Mark Platinum Award for overseas projects in the district category.
The industry has moved in such a way that we can evolve to become ambassadors for Singapore when we start engaging in overseas projects, and with it bring our values of efficiency, of competency, of good design, right, of even sustainable design and smart design.
In Singapore, Zehan's team has been tasked to design the BCA Skylab. This is the world's first high-rise, rotatable laboratory to test green building technologies for the tropics.
The BCA Skylab has a number of unique features. Firstly is rotatable. It can be positioned any orientation relative to the sun. Secondly, it is on the rooftop, exposed to weather, so that technologies can be test-bedded in a real weather condition. Thirdly, it is easily reconfigurable, meaning that the layout of the furniture, type of lighting, air conditioning system, and even the external facades, we can change them. So with such a facility, we hope that the Singapore research and development capability can be enhanced for building energy efficiency.
The BCA Skylab is inspired by Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory's FlexLab in the United States. Berkeley Lab is now collaborating with BCA to build the Skylab in Singapore. The BCA Skylab is built on the rooftop of the BCA Academy and will open in 2016.
We actually hope to train our local researchers and our consultants. We are actually open to also external expertise.
Zehan's contributions to the green building movement did not go unnoticed. He received the Young Green Architect of the Year award from BCA and the Singapore Green Building Council in September 2015.
Green Architect of the Year is Mr. Tan Zehan.
This award honors young building professionals below the age of 40 who have championed sustainability.
I think the award is just the beginning of hopefully bigger things to come. It's encouragement because you get an award for basically doing your job, and I think that's one of the most rewarding things about being in this industry, about being an architect. There's a bit of a shortage of engineers in our industry, so hopefully I think we can arrest that problem by inspiring the younger generation to take on a career in the building industry as well.
Besides encouraging youths to join the green building industry in Singapore, Zehan is working towards a bigger dream.
If I could actually influence a larger population within the world or in the world to take up green sensitive sort of measures and to adopt habits that would encourage more energy saving as people design and use the buildings, then I think that would really be a dream come true for me as a designer and as an architect.
Technology and hardware can help us build a green, sustainable city. But how far we can drive sustainability depends much on our consumption habits and our conscious effort to change. BCA wants to reach its target of making 80% of Singapore's buildings green by 2030. But change is only possible if we alter our habits. According to the BCA Building Energy Benchmarking Report in 2014, building occupants use half of the commercial building's total electricity consumption. This means we can reduce energy consumption if we can influence the user's behavior. Entrepreneurs like Kenneth Lee are trying to do just that with homegrown inventions. The electronics and electrical engineer has created a software that allows building occupants to track their energy usage in real time. All they need to do is click on their mobile devices, tablets, or computers. The system, called Energetics, is one of the first cloud energy management systems in Singapore.
We realized that when we put this information into the hands of the building owners, they were able to find solutions to the problem. And so Energetics was built initially specifically for the purpose of visualizing energy and providing these building owners with in-depth understanding of where energy was used.
Energetics churns out energy usage charts that are easy to read. And it goes a step further to influence the actions of the end users. The Energetics user will receive a mobile text or email alert if the lights in a room are not turned off. He can then turn the lights off immediately using his mobile device.
One of the driving factors is actually a change in behavior. And that can only be achieved if you show them and you visualize to them the impact of their actions. So real-time information provided to, in a simple way, about how much energy is being consumed actually drives behavioral change. And eventually that leads to sustained energy savings.
The birth of Energetics was almost accidental. Kenneth took sabbatical leave from his sales manager job in the IT industry in 2008. After having worked for 2 decades, he wanted to explore the latest trends in technology for entrepreneurial opportunities. He found a British device on the internet that could monitor energy usage and bought it to try. After installing the device in his living room, the transformation in his household amazed him.
All of a sudden, I could see how much my home appliances were consuming. And that helped me basically do what I call an energy audit at home. And that helped identify, the home appliances that were consuming a lot of energy. And then we changed our habits in the family. And because of that, we saved about 15% of energy. And I also saw the impact that it had on my children, where they were able to take the device and do their own audits and understand what home appliances consume how much energy.
By 2012, Kenneth had developed the energy monitoring device, Energetics. He anticipated the growing need for environmental sustainability. More and more organizations are looking for ways to reduce their energy consumption through smart solutions. Resorts World Sentosa is one of the recent adopters of Energetics.
The good thing about this system is that you can slice and dice down to consumption rate of per building, per location, per business unit. And then from there we can chart the action plans down to each of these units. So overall it's something that really in a way also increase our productivity, right? Other than just supporting the green effort. It makes the staff all motivated because it's easy to use.
Although Kenneth's business has grown steadily, he never forgets how difficult it was at the start. The biggest hurdle was to persuade building owners to change their mindsets.
Building owners are now aware that even though it costs a lot of money to build a building initially, it also costs a lot of money to operate the building over the lifespan of the building, which could be 30, 40, 50, 60 years. And so it becomes important to implement energy management solutions so that they can manage and optimize their energy and save millions of dollars.
Today, Kenneth's business has expanded to other parts of Asia. The changemakers' contributions towards shaping global sustainability has also been recognized. Kenneth received the World City Summit Young Leader Award in 2014.
What we can do really is to export our know-how in terms of green building technology and work closely with BCA, which has the Green Building or Green Mark program here in Singapore.
For BCA to shape and promote its green building movement in Singapore and abroad, it needs to tap on the research capability of entrepreneurs like Kenneth. But innovations are only part of the green equation.
It is very critical to get the users to come on board, because the half of that energy consumption for the building comes from the user, and we are reaching out to the users in a big way to get them understand why they need to do their part and what they can do to green their office, their other premises, whether it's supermarket or data center or retail shops and so on and so forth. We got to look for innovative new ideas that can give us more cost-effective green building solutions. So all this would be very important going forward for the next 5-10 years.
Today, 14 countries worldwide and more than 70 cities in Asia are using BCA Green Mark certification for their projects. BCA also shares its green building expertise with the region by partnering with the United Nations Environment Programme. At the same time, Singapore has greened more than a quarter of its buildings. The proportion of eco-friendly buildings is targeted to grow to 80% by 2030. But BCA can't achieve this alone. Building a green nation on this 700 square kilometre land is everyone's job. Whether we're an occupant or a builder, the sustainable future lies in our choices.
This program is brought to you by the Building and Construction Authority of Singapore.